Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has told political and business leaders that the world is at a turning point at the World Economic Forum in Davos. He also said the world cannot be ruled by brute force and called for maximum sanctions against Russia, including an oil embargo. It comes after Andrzej Duda received a standing ovation in the Ukrainian parliament in Kyiv. He told the audience only Ukrainians themselves could decide their future. Meanwhile, Russian forces have continued their attacks on the eastern Donbass region following their capture of Mariupol. The Russian Defense Ministry has released footage of sea-launched long-range missiles. Russia is stepping up efforts to capture the eastern city of Severodonetsk, a strategically hugely important area. As if it falls under Russian control, this would mean Moscow's forces will control almost all of Luhansk. A court in Ukraine has sentenced a Russian tank commander to life in prison for killing a civilian at the first war crimes trial since the invasion began. Sergeant Vadim Shishimarin was convicted of killing Alexander Shelipov on the 28th of February. He admitted fatally shooting the man, but said he had been acting on orders. Moscow has denied its troops targeted civilians during the invasion, while Ukraine says more than 11,000 crimes may have been committed. US President Joe Biden has said he would be willing to use force to defend Taiwan in a series of critical comments about China he made in Tokyo.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
Biden's comment, made during his first visit to Japan since taking office, appeared to be a departure from existing US policy of so-called strategic ambiguity on Taiwan, which China considers to be part of its One China policy territory. Following Biden's comments, a White House official said there was no change in policy towards Taiwan. The Philippine Coast Guard says 7 people have died after a high-speed ferry carrying 134 people caught fire, with 7 passengers still missing. The ship caught fire just before reaching the port of Real in Quezon province, about 60 kilometers east of the capital Manila. 5 women and 2 men have died, while 120 passengers had been rescued, with 23 of them treated for injuries. It was not immediately clear the cause of the fire, but the Philippines has a poor record for maritime safety, with vessels often overcrowded and aging. Hundreds of residents have been evacuated in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province amid a high alert over renewed flooding. The province experienced deadly floods last month, while heavy rains have forced the local administration to be on high alert to prevent any loss of life. A level 10 warning, the highest and most severe level issued by the Weather Service, remains in place. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is on a 3-day tour of Senegal, Niger and South Africa, his first trip to Africa since his election. Alongside Senegal's President Macky Sall, Scholz promised to keep actively working to ensure successful grain imports kept coming from Ukraine. Germany is hoping to reduce its reliance on Russian energy following the invasion of Ukraine. Senegal is expected to become a major gas producer in the region. Mr. Scholz will visit German troops in Niger and discuss the lengthy battle against jihadists. Anthony Albanese has been sworn in as Australia's new leader and will fly immediately to an international summit. Mr. Albanese's Labour Party defeated Scott Morrison's Conservative government in an election on Saturday. It remains unclear whether Mr. Albanese will form a majority or govern with the support of crossbenchers.
I am incredibly honoured and humbled.
The Prime Minister left for Tokyo on Monday to meet the leaders of the so-called Quad nations, the US, India and Japan. And finally, 580 turtle hatchlings have been released into Cambodia's Mekong River to mark World Turtle Day. The critically endangered Cantor's giant soft-shell turtles were collected from a holding pool, blessed by some Buddhist monks before officials and students let them go into the river. Due to illegal poaching, the animal has disappeared from much of its former range in Vietnam and Thailand. It was not found in the wild in Cambodia between 2003 and 2007, according to the WCS. But through their conservation efforts, they have released 1,300 hatchlings into the wild in 2021 and have so far released over 1,500 in 2022. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.